President inaugurates first private oil refinery in Ghana. The details on page 8. Let's add value to natural resources and stop, dig, and ship. That's coming in from Abu Jinapo, who is the minister responsible for lands and natural resources, retained over the weekend as the candidate for the MPP in the Damongo constituency.
Front page of the Daily Graphic, MPP primaries, 10 ministers axed, 10 retained candidacy. On the front page, you have a photo of Michael Quay Jr., CEO of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, and then you also have Nana Osei Ajayi, head of parastatal at the Agric Development Bank. And then you also have on the front page, GADEC selects strategic partner for alumina refinery bauxite mine. GRA says they've backed 113 billion Ghana cedis in 2023. It's their highest collection in 20 years.
The Chronicle, Prosperity Dialogue, Business Gurus Promise Value Addition. Gabi Asare-Chudako is seen here shaking hands with the President of the Republic. Also, MPP primaries, 28 MPs booted out. Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger pull out of ECOWAS. Details tomorrow, the paper says.
The Daily Guide comes with the photos of Team Out. Team Out.
28 of them.
Yes, 28 NPP MPs fall in primaries. I'll give you details later. The ECOWAS stories on the front page. African leaders commit to manufacturing.
The New Finder says 18 strategic policies agreed by heads of state, business leaders to drive Africa's prosperity. Also, GIADEC signs multi-million-dollar bauxite deal with Mytilenius. And then also, Ghanaian soldier on peacekeeping duties killed in Sudan.
And the front page of the Herald, a story that I think went under the radar. Ghanaian soldiers indicted for abusing Ashaiman residents. Akufo-Addo kills tour with Chinese refinery. That's their angle on the story. Mahama implicates president and vice in PBC property seizure. The MPs who have lost their seats also on the front page of the Herald newspaper.
That story makes it to the front page of the Ghanaian publisher as well. Tsunami at MPP primaries. And then also APD Summit, which is the Africa Prosperity Dialogue. Stakeholders target continental growth.
Front page of the publisher newspaper, the Daily Analyst, all paying attention to the NPP primaries. Gideon Bwakun is on the front page of the Daily Analyst. And Oforikrum says yes to Mike Edu. That's on the front page of the new publisher.
The Inquisitor newspaper says this morning, Napo wins with landslide at Mansha South. As for this paper, Charlie, Napo is always on the front page. That's a good thing. Consistency is good.
It's called the Daily Napo.
Also on the front page this morning, Asenso Boachi makes history at Bantama and some other stories on the front page here.
The Anchor newspaper also have their favorite candidate on the front page, George Mekuduka, Takwan Shaya, member of parliament. This is also the Daily Miduka. If this is the Daily Napo, this is the Daily Duka. Sick delegate on oxygen brought in taxi to vote.
Charlie. Let me take you to the Daily Searchlight. Bloody Saturday, a slew of MPP MPs fall in primaries. Some other stories here, including one in which Gabo is seen saying that he is prepared to take on responsibilities in the Dom Kwabenya constituency.
And finally, from me, the front page of the BNFT. Let's open our borders up for trade. This is the MTN Group Senior Vice President. There are some business appointments that have been made across the country. Hollister Diayen to me takes over SIC Insurance. China will support Ghana's sustainable development. There's a photo of the finance minister wearing his Ghana muffler.
And if you go to the Republic Press, they have APD 2024, Business Governments Unite, and they're vowing to boost production for economic recovery. Baumia calls for unity. And if you go to the Informer newspaper, 2024 Africa Prosperity Dialogues, they also talk about government and businesses and others committing to value addition and trade enhancing policy.
I'll give you a lot of stories on citynewsroom.com. Before I go to the MPP primaries, a couple of stories that you have missed or not mentioned in the newspaper review already. NDC returns to IPAC after boycotting meetings in 2021. That's citynewsroom.com.
Great.
Also, ECOWAS in shambles, Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso exit. And then ECOWAS to the three countries, you are important to our community. So it's like they don't want to take a hardline stance. University senior staff yet to call off strike despite pleas from NLC. Now, let me give you a slew of stories from the primaries. You have MPP primaries and recorded Bimun Sectors of Experience MPs on citynewsroom.com. Yendi MP Farouk Mahama, Assault City News journalist, joined parliamentary primary. Also, the couple stories from Yendi. Become MPP leadership will resolve Yendi parliamentary row. Hajia Abibata to supporters. She also petitions MPP neck over chaotic Yendi parliamentary poll. And then I am the undefeated, undisputed heavyweight champion of Adansia Sokwa, Katie Amon. He was caught in a video saying some very, very unfortunate things for a minister of his caliber, talking about beating up his opponent in front of police people who were trying to calm him down. Really, really terrible behavior. All of that and more. If you go to myjoyonline.com, if you have the front page story, the lead is the 3 countries leaving ECOWAS. And then, of course, ECOWAS is asking them, basically saying that they are, they're important to us. And then we have ECG transition meter applications and other services are going online starting February 1. And then first visually impaired PhD holder graduates from UCC. Lots of graduations over the weekend. UCC. I think Legon had about 10 events or something. Very, very big graduation as well. And then how are Constitutions to sue GJA president? So that's up and down. Anaba says there's too much entertainment in the churches.
Okay.
If you go to Star FM, same ECOWAS story is leading. Tax burden on cocoa cooperatives affecting production is also a big story there. Class FM, they're also talking about after economic integration in Africa's must. Akufo-Addo speaking. Let me take you quickly to East Africa for a quick headline. Kenya faces oil losses as Uganda shifts to Tanzania. Very interesting that most of the things that happen in those countries as well. There's also a UAE firm for oil refinery project in Uganda. And the musical chairs between the 3 countries is always in the news in that part of the world. And then in France, French farmers are vowing a Paris siege as tractor protest converges on the capital. Big story. French farmers not happy. We discussed agric over the weekend at the Prosperity Summit. Let me come to you. Give me a summary of the MPP primaries from the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, so if you go to Ghanaian Times, the details are on page 9 of the paper. Top brass candidates fall in MPP parliamentary primaries as others retain seats. And the story says the much-awaited New Patriotic Party primaries was held across the country at the weekend, where several notable incumbent members of parliament have suffered defeat in their quest for re-election in December 7 elections. Now, the story goes on to say that Vivian Arthur reports from Anyas Wotum constituency that the constituency witnessed a change in the representation of the party as the incumbent MP, Dr. Dixon Adomako Kisib, lost his bid for re-election. Now, he was defeated by his contender, Emmanuel Tobing, who made a significant margin of 818 votes to win the seat. It's actually the ticket.
The ticket, not the seat.
Yes, Dr. Adomako Kisi garnering 566 votes. Now, if you read through the story and you collate that with other newspapers,
let me go through the names.
The truth is that some 28 or so.
Let me give you the name. Joseph Kujo, Efia, Amapoma Boatin, Jabeng, Sheila Bartels, Ablekuma North, Moses Enim, Trobu, Frida Prempe, Tano North, John Benam Jabale Zabzugu, Tinana Ile Mensa, Wejak Bawe, Dr. Adomako Kisi, you mentioned Anyaso Tom, Eugene Boachenji, Subin, Yves Hansen Norte, Tama Central, Bright, Reku Brobe, Chifu Hemang, Akwesi Afrifa Mensa, Amasaman, Elvis Donko, AAK, Eric Senabaka Shama, Akwesi Dako Boatin, Bosomi Frehon, Adjoa Safo Domiko Abenya, and a few others like Mahama Seini in Daboya. Then the Herald has an angle on Eugene Boachi's entries loss, and then also some different twists to what the defeats mean and what the alignments imply.
Yeah, we'll go. I left that because I thought we'll go into details later on.
How the mighty are falling is how the publisher writes it. 3 ministers, 7 deputies is their angle. The deputies are Tina Mensa of Health, Frida Prempe, who's the minister for Sanitation. Adjoa Safo was a former deputy minister, and then
Former minister, actually.
She was a former minister, yes, for gender as well. And then, of course, Joseph Kujo has also lost.
The former gender minister and the current gender minister
yes.
all gone.
The current gender minister is MP for Walewale, she's also gone. And then Jerry Ahmed Shaibu defeating Tina Mensa. Other names that I have not mentioned in the list I have include Owusu Efrifa Mensa of Amasaman, Emmanuel Anyure of Achemang Wabieja, Akwesi Dako Boate of Bosome Freho, Joseph Benan of Zabzugu, George Obinteche of Mansung Kwanta, and I also have not mentioned Kwejua Santi of Suhum, John Fremont Osei of New Ebrem, Emmanuel Akwesi Jemfi of Odotobiri, Kwabena Amankwa Siama. It seems as if a lot of the people on the ground in the MPP want some kind of change.
Yeah.
And some of the people were punished for being aloof and all sort of things. We'll discuss this later on.
Okay, let me take you to this oil refinery business and then discuss some other business headlines. On page 16 of the Daily Graphic, President commissions $2 billion into oil refinery in Tema. Says that the refinery situated on 100-acre land is under the one district, one factory policy and can refine 5 million barrels of oil per annum. It will produce high-quality finished gasoline, aviation kerosene, diesel, asphalt, and lubricating base oil, among others. The commissioning of the biggest oil refinery in the country attracted people from far and near, including the president of Guyana, Mohamed Irfan Ali. The Speaker of Parliament was also present at this. Now, the angle that the Herald has is a bit different.
Yeah, because
They
the
say
national refinery is in shambles, and of course, the private refinery is working, which is a matter of obvious concern for people.
They say that on page 7, the president has officially inaugurated Centro oil refinery, a Chinese-owned facility, raising concerns about the fate of the state-owned Tema oil refinery. Contrastingly, Tor, once a thriving state-owned oil refinery with substantial infrastructure, now lies in a coma, serving primarily as a storage facility for petroleum products owned by private companies who pay a fee for the service. Remarkably, Tor continues to have a management team and a government-appointed board drawing salaries and sitting allowances monthly, funded by the Tor debt recovery levy imposed on Ghanaians through the purchase of petroleum products since 2001. I'm sure we might have time
Just
to
a quick
discuss
point on this.
well.
Uganda has picked a UAE firm as the lead developer or an investor for its 60,000 barrels a day national refinery. And basically, there were other people contending, but 2 days ago, Uganda's energy minister announced that the government had picked Alpha MBM Investment LLC from the UAE, with which Kampala signed an MOU December last year outlining cooperation and negotiation terms for a refinery. So there, lots of African countries have to now pick up. Don't forget, Dangote has a huge refinery in Nigeria as well.
In the meantime, though, if you go to the series of stories on the Africa Prosperity Dialogue that was held in Peduasi last week and through the weekend, page 8 of the Chronicle has details of some of the things that happened there. Prosperity Dialogue. Business gurus promise value addition, consistent with what you just read. Now, business gurus and governments on the continent of Africa have promised to pursue the production of manufactured goods, including value addition to raw materials, and also boost the intra-Africa trade. Now, they made a promise at the just ended 2024 Africa Prosperity Dialogue, which was organized by the Africa Prosperity Network, APN, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, under the auspices of the government of Ghana at Iburi in the eastern region. Now, it was on the theme, delivering prosperity in Africa, produce, add value, and trade. And if you look at it in the round, it would seem that for us to fully realize the true potential of the AFTA agreement, we really need to actually add value and then also intensify trade within ourselves.
The other big story is ECOWAS. Three
Before you
military-led
get to ECOWAS,
countries have withdrawn.
Hold on, before you get to ECOWAS, on page 13, JADEC has also been acting in the natural resources space.
All right.
They have signed an agreement with a strategic partner, Miscellaneous Energy and Metals, for the construction of an alumina refinery and the development of a mine at Nyinahini in Pasaso.
I just wanted to give you the story on ECOWAS. I think it's everywhere.
Yes.
Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso announced the exit from ECOWAS. And we had, of course, ECOWAS had been pushing for they were suspended for being led by military juntas who had overthrown legitimately elected governments. And the three countries issued a joint statement yesterday and who said that the influence of foreign powers had become a threat to their member states and therefore decided to withdraw from the bloc with immediate effect. And they also said the bloc had failed to assist them basically in fighting Islamic insurgency. Colonel Abdullah Maigad, Mali's government spokesperson, said in a statement on state television. And ECOWAS sent a statement saying they remain committed to finding a negotiated solution to the political impasse and that the three countries were still important to it. Now, if you look at the West African map, these are the three biggest Sahelian countries apart from the next one here. So there's Niger, there's Mali, and then there's Chad on the right, and then there's Mauritania on the left.
Which is not part of
Good.
it.
Now, Guinea also has a military junta. Now, the trouble with this is that ECOWAS's influence in this country is going to reduce. So we don't know if there's going to be some negotiated settlement for them to come back. Some people think this is the beginning of the end for ECOWAS. Now, the other story I wanted to bring you is a quick...
Because some military junta people.
No, I'm coming. There are three countries. Now, there's a lot of concerns about many countries. So, for example, Senegal's jailed opposition head is backing detained deputy presidential bid. There's a lot of political developments in Senegal we have to keep an eye on. right? I'm just trying to say that there's a lot of uncertainty in many of West Africa's countries.
Yeah.
So the three of them leaving doesn't help anybody.
Well,
All right.
wouldn't deal.
So you think they should go?
Oh, no, not that. I really look. If you look at the treaty provisions, yes, a member country, can announce in advance a year from the date of effective withdrawal that he wants to withdraw. But the question is whether the people who are holding their citizens to ransom, a gun to their head, have the legitimacy to say that they are pulling their citizens out of the ECOWAS.
Really, in the world, once the coup succeeds, you are the president. So that's the way it works, right?
Okay, so let's go to some other stories this morning, Bernard. So there's a story here I find in the Republic newspaper of the Vice President Baumia calling for unity in the party. And then also, there is also something here that says, I have been wondering why people are rushing to Parliament.
Yeah, In fact, there was a video of Andy Apiakubi saying that, and I saw the video myself. I confirmed the video that he doesn't think he's going to pay the kind of money he had to pay this year to be MP ever again, and that it's becoming too expensive to become a member of Parliament. And that he doesn't think he's going to repeat it. And then the journalist asked him how much he spent. He says, I'm not going to say it, but you know that it's becoming too expensive. He says, what can you do in 4 years to recoup the amount of money he spent here? So you're basically admitting that he had to spend a lot of money. Now, a couple of things. Haji Abibata is petitioning MPP NEC over chaotic Yendi parliamentary poll. She's a contender to Farouk Aliu Mahama, CEO of Maslock as well. Now, she spoke to Sankara Radio Yendi and basically said that she had won the election. There's a video of her supporters jubilating over the weekend that they had won. Then there's a video of Farouk Aliu Mahama leading a group to attack people, including our reporter.
Oh, that's completely
what's his name? Alabira. The reporter was rescued by the police, and he's gone to pick a form from the police this morning to make an official report. That's the second story. Then there's a third story in relation to all of this, where the MP Hawa Kumsin, Minister for Fisheries, is threatening to sue GJA president because GJA has also asked for a media blackout on her. So she won her primary over the weekend, and she's in a war of words with the GJA. And finally, the GJA in the northern region has issued a statement to condemn Farouk Aliu Mohammed's behavior. Then there's another video of Katie Hammond also threatening his contender that he was going to get people to beat him up.
Absolutely.
That he was going to beat him in the poll, and then he will get people to beat him because the guy apparently had also done something. And the police were telling him that you don't talk like that. He was basically saying he's been in politics for a long time, and then Bimfo is a small boy. And I'm thinking, just to get to Parliament,
the Honourable Katie Hammond should know better.
It's a home minister. Is it I'll get? Is it man Bruno?
No. A minister of his stature, a member of Parliament of so many years.
The MPP needs to take action against
a barrister at law in the UK, solicitor in Ghana, UK, and then also a barrister at law in Ghana.
The MP for Yendi, Katie Hammond, and those who've been involved in this, the New Party needs to send a strong signal that they don't endorse this type of behavior. And I think the Ghana police as well on the Yendi matter, because they are the guys who even rescued the reporter. So they know what to do, right? Let's conclude with something else on the
stories, and then I want you to tell me about Istunanaba's headline.
Oh, okay.
6 banks set to sell PBC's assets. Very, very sad story. But 6 years ago, this was one of the best performing companies in the country. 6 years ago.
I don't even know. Cocoa Board's production.
It had 30% market share.
The cocoa sector deserves a lot of discussion.
We must.
This is the lowest cocoa yield in years. This is the highest interest rate we've paid.
Grinders are struggling.
The highest interest rate we've paid on the syndicated loan. This is the lowest amount of syndicated loan in years. And now PBC is so broke that they've had to sell.
Their vehicles away.
They're towing it like...
Meanwhile, we were told that this government said we're going to revamp the cocoa industry. They were going to convert it from the Ministry of Finance to Agric.
It's suffocating.
Kalamse is destroying it. I mean, it's...
The politics is destroying.
Give me the last one. They said there's too much entertainment in church.
It's not just in our church, everywhere. A video of Reverend Isunaba preaching about the fixation on entertainment in churches has surfaced online. The video, the founder of Isunaba Ministry, he said expressing worry over the church's wanton love for entertainment at the expense of the core purpose of the church, listening to the word of God. And
which entertainment?
Look, you can go listen to the video yourself, bro.
Which
entertainment? He's preaching his church, and what's your problem?
No, but which kind of entertainment?
Well, it's entertainment.
Why we say that's not
which kind?
Read the story.
I won't read it. You can't force me.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest